Good evening, everybody. It is Tuesday night. It is 8 o'clock. Well, actually 8:01. And it's time for I Didn't Know That, our weekly broadcast here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Stoffer Mortgage. Hey, that's me. And we are doing the show this evening without our beloved Karaoke Bob. No Karaoke Bob tonight. And we are sad about that, but I think you're gonna love the replacement that we have. We have a very special person who is going to fill in for Bob this week. No Jared Tudor. Jared filled in last week and did a very good job. We have a very exciting show for you this evening. I can't wait to get to it. Our guests tonight include Mr. Gregory Nicholas. He is our psychic medium. He is going to talk about that. Also this evening, we are going to have Jared Gray, the professor. He's going to come on and he is going to talk to everybody about wine and chocolate pairings. Now that sounds really good. I might even drink some wine now because, that I like the chocolate part of it. That is if I can get my co-host tonight, Sarah Gearino. She is coming on. By the way, before I bring Sarah on, she was my first guest and my second guest when we did the show way back in the summer. She came on and she was incredible, and she's very kindly decided to come back on. I think it was the wine and chocolate that lured her back on. And she might have some questions for Gregory Nicholas as well. You never know, but couldn't have been me. Well, anyways, without further ado, I'm going to bring on Sarah Gearino. Sarah, how are you this evening? And if I can figure out how to work this out. There you are.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me on tonight. As you can see in the photo, I had wine in the back of my photo, so I'm ready for tonight.
And you have wine in the back of your photo.
Yeah, I did in the one that I was holding the cup, but as I've told you, I've already had a glass of wine tonight, so
getting warmed up for Jared.
That's right. Fitness professionals can still enjoy themselves as well. So,
well, I look forward to having you riding shotgun with me tonight, and also, I did not say in the opening part, you and I are going to talk fitness a little bit later on.
Absolutely, I cannot. You and I always have the greatest conversations, so we can bring it to the world, bring it to the people.
Absolutely, because I think there are some really key things. As people have heard me talk numerous times on the show, I've been with you for 8-9 months, I think.
Yep.
And I have had so much fun working with you. You are like a godsend to me. You've been a life changer to me, and we are going to talk about that, later on, and what it takes, in my opinion, to work with you, because I think people have a lot of misconceptions about, working with somebody like you, because you are in shape. I did the shoulders and bicep, that 45-second timed thing. Mm-hmm. I nearly died today. Okay. But we're going to talk about that. Yeah. I think that there's, I say a lot of stuff joking around. And when I say nearly died, I don't want people to get the wrong impression. But one of the things we're going to talk about is you got to work up to your level. We don't want to start off at your level because, at that point, what do you need you for, right?
Yeah.
So, and I hope you have all kinds of questions ready for Greg. And I hope you have questions ready for Jared, because, you got to do your part, because I know you're going to have a lot of questions about that. And one other person I want to say thank you to is Mark Seibert. There's a nice picture of Mark. He's got his workout gear going on right there. Mark has done a lot of these graphics, all of them except the first one was done by Mark. And we'll say hello to Mark here really quick. Oh. Mark, how are you?
That was pre-COVID, that picture.
Yeah, that was pre-COVID.
I had a black Trans Am at the time that I used to talk to through my watch. back in the
yes,
80s.
yes.
Yeah.
I think its name is Kit, right?
I think you're going to use it on the show tonight.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Mark. We'll be back to you in a little bit later. I just wanted to say hello to you. I told Mark he's got to be ready, and I didn't tell him why he's got to be ready. Okay, so are you ready to talk to Gregory Nicholas?
I'm
Sarah?
ready.
All right.
I'm nervous and excited, but I just bring him on. Bring him on.
Very good. Very good.
I love it.
Here he is, Mr. Gregory Nicholas, psychic medium. How are you tonight, Greg?
I am well, Mike. Thanks for having me. Hi, Sarah.
Hello, hello.
It is a pleasure to have you.
Thanks. It's nice to be here.
We have a lot of questions for you, so I hope you're ready.
I'll try.
Okay. First question that I want you to look into the future and see, will my light that always goes out, will it stay on for the entire show this time?
I think it's going to stay on tonight. I really do.
Excellent, excellent. So very good. So, Greg, you are a fourth generation?
Yes, I am.
So when did this start? Talk to me about your family and take us through that.
Sure. I am fourth generation psychic medium. Slight difference between the two. I always tell people psychic are the tools going forward, the cards, things like that, whereas medium is communicating with spirit, those who have passed. We trace the ability or gift, if you will, to my great-grandmother. She came over from Naples, Italy in 1919. Settled in Pennsylvania, where I'm originally from, and the ability, if you will, went from her to my grandmother to my mother to me. Now, it does end with me. My wife and I do not have any children, so it does end with me. I am very protective in what I do. I don't do anything what some people would consider dark, if you will. I've been brought up in a very strict religious family. And always taught that, you use it for the highest and best good. I started seeing things at age 4. My first example, honestly, was at a funeral home. I said something to my mother, and she said, we'll talk about it later. So I've been groomed all my life to how to use things, how to do it properly with respect, and also to bring others' feelings into emotions into it, and always be courteous to everybody else.
Greg, let me jump in real quick. What was that like at 4 years old?
If you will, I can remember it was at a funeral home. It would be my great aunt who died. And I remember I was holding my mother's hand, and I said to her, I said, Mom, I said, her name was Louise. I said, Louise is standing over there. And she looked down and she squeezed my hand and she said, we'll talk about that later. And from then on, that was it. And I was always taught to, especially growing up, you keep it at home. If you have any questions, you talk to mom and dad about it. My mother comes from a very large family, and also her sisters. Do not talk about it out in public or in school. Let's face it, kids can be rather brutal.
What was that conversation like at home? So you get home.
It was, well, what do you see? How to do it? Always protect. Always remember to have divine protection around you, to do it for the highest and best good. A lot of very positive reinforcement, things like that as well. Always make sure you have someone's permission when you do it. And for me to walk up to either one of you and say, oh, I see this or that, or so-and-so may be behind you, I would never do. I don't do that because that would go against your permission. And frankly, we do not know if, Sarah, how it would be received as well.
But what's it like? But what's it like growing up with that? I mean, it probably had to take you time to know how to manage that and to deal with that, right?
Oh, it did. No, it did. And over the years, it was, for the first, several years, you only talk about it with your parents or your aunts or things like that. And then the time came through with the angels, in terms of seeing angels, or let's say light beings as well, that they're there for our highest and best good. And also then the time came to, Mike, where it was something to do with your feeling, your gut, how to feel if something or someone may not have the best intentions at heart. I'm also empathic. meaning picking up on other people's hurt and emotions. It's very difficult for me to go to a shopping mall. I'll be very honest with you. I pick up on the anxiety, the emotions, and things like that. I haven't been in a shopping mall in many years.
You know, it's funny that you bring that up because I cannot stand going food shopping because I just pick up everybody's anxiety. I mean, I'm walking through and it's just like I got to get out of here because it just like floods me. You know,
well,
all that
right
anxiety.
in the solar plexus, Mike, your seat of emotion, right above the navel, the seat of emotion right there. It hurts, and that's you picking up on other people's hurt and emotions. I'm a strong believer that we all were born with the ability to either have empathy or to pick up on spirits around us, whether they're human or animal. It's not uncommon to pick up on an animal spirit who may pass. It's just how we choose to do it when we're younger. I was fortunate enough to have the strong background, the strong Italian background, if you will, and it has been very kind to me, and I'm very grateful for what I do.
It's amazing.
So talk to us a little. Some of the things that you use. So when you sit down with somebody, you have a preferred couple of methods, right? One of them is dominoes.
Right. Yep. I use dominoes right here. Dominoes. I was brought up learning how to use these. Been around for thousands of years. The Chinese first invented dominoes for fortune telling, then a game. The dominoes, each one means something, and they tell a story. I also sometimes use seashells. Seashells have been around, of course, from the water thousands of years, very popular by the people of the Mediterranean region, Italy, Greece, Egypt, Cyprus, Morocco. They're tied to your emotions. So the seashells that you may pull during a reading has something to do with your emotions. I'll use the seashells with the dominoes. Plus, I also use a very old deck of playing cards that were my mother's.
Wow.
I still use them. I don't use them for every reading, but I do use them.
Well, he froze up on us, Sarah.
He might be back.
You know, what's interesting is that he keeps bringing up the Italians and their emotions.
Oh, that's we're
just like you, very Italian.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Greg, you're back. You froze up for just a minute.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. The playing cards. Finish what you said about the playing cards.
The playing cards, those were my mother's.
Okay.
She's been gone 10 years. When she died, I have them. She even had some of the buzzwords written on them to help her over the years. Right there, and I use those not for every reading, and then a lot of times too, when I read, people come to you say they want a psychic reading. Okay, psychic is usually the tools, as I said earlier, but then Sarah, I could just be talking to you during a reading, and oh wow, I pick up on a voice and everything, and it's always important. People say during an event or reading, well, what will I see? Maybe nothing. See, hear, feel, smell, dream, all your senses, you know, and that's, when someone passes away, many times people want to see a sign that they're okay, move that picture, bring that book out. That may never happen.
Yeah.
See, hear, feel, smell, dream. We're on spirit time.
So funny you bring that up, that when my grandmother had passed away, my grandfather had already passed. We were in their home in Texas. My entire family had, flown in, and we're all sitting there, and I look over and there's a family portrait on the wall, and I see the thing move out of my peripheral. And I said to my aunt, I said, that picture just moved. It's crooked. It was straight. And she said, no. And then she said, hey, Mom, if you're here, straighten the photo. And we all watched that darn thing go straight back. And it was not anything we were all kind of at peace and calm. But that was my first
fantastic gift.
I'm a believer.
Yeah. One thing that has to do with pets, Sarah, you bring up an excellent point. That's a fantastic gift. Many times, not always, but many times when pets pass, a dog or cat, you could be relaxing either on the couch or maybe in bed.
Well, Greg is frozen right now. He's back.
Say, I'm okay.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Greg, I just wanted to jump in real quick. Sandy Murray says hello. If you can see that on the on your screen.
Yeah. Hey, Sandy. How are you?
And Sandy is responsible for you being on the show. She's the one that suggested you to me. So
thanks, Sandy. I
thank
really
you to Sandy.
appreciate it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But all the senses, Sarah, everything. Because I tend to pick up on a lot of the fragrances or scents during an event, whether it be a one-on-one event or I do a lot of gallery events where a lot of people, not so many right now with the virus, unfortunately, but hopefully next year I'll be able to get into that again. But a lot of fragrances may come up too. And very important for me, when I do the mediumship, I do not see the movie, like a movie of things going by. I get snapshots of pictures.
Oh. Okay.
That's how and we all used to have different abilities. Both of you may, Mike, you may experience something where, like you said earlier, in the gut, butterflies in the stomach, that's empathy. Sarah, you may pick up on whether it be smelling or, in fact, dreaming. Everybody is different. We do not all have the same gift.
So do you see any snapshots of like bridal? Anywhere in my future.
Sarah, you froze up on me.
Oh no, Greg, hear me?
I heard him say you froze up.
He's like, that's just my way.
See, that's what happens, Sarah. You talk about a bridal in the future, and it's like, nope.
Like,
the spirits are playing with us tonight, guys. Yeah, but one thing too that anyone can do is I see auras, the energy, the colors around everybody. Okay. And you can do that. Not only can you see them, but you can feel them as well.
Wow.
Now, do you teach others to strengthen these psychic powers?
I do sometimes. I teach how to see auras, the energy field around you. I teach scrying. I do teach how to develop your psychic or mediumship abilities. Mm-hmm. I usually do that in a group or classroom setting. I don't have as much time to teach as I would like, just because I'm so busy. It's a good problem to have. But I do teach that because I really believe everyone has it, but you have to be open.
Right. Right.
And when people come to me for a reading, it's okay to be skeptical. That's cool. But don't sit there and, I dare you. That won't work.
Yeah. And for those of you that are watching, you can get contact information for Greg. I've got scrolling his email, which is psychicgregnick@yahoo.com. His phone number, 330-671-2486, and Facebook, Gregory Nicholas. So just in case you want to get in touch, because you're like the hardest working psychic medium out there, because you're like everywhere.
Thank you. My wife is sitting beside me tonight, and she's nodding her head. It's my career. Yep. It is my career, and I enjoy what I do. I'm very lucky, guys, that I enjoy what I do. And, it's not always easy doing what I do. Sometimes you have to give messages from the other side that people need closure, whether it's a child who has unfortunately passed, or some unfinished business, or a
co-host that wants to get married in the future.
Yeah. Hey, you never know. Hey, yeah. Or is it just wishful thinking? You never know.
Right. Yeah. So you're very affordable. I love the story on why you're so affordable.
Yeah. Thank you. When my mother died 10 years ago in Pennsylvania, I was with her. So was my wife. And Mom looked at me, and she had arthritis in her fingers, and it was crooked. And she said, "You overcharge, I'll haunt you."
It's those Italians, I tell you.
I'm happy, and everybody else, all my relatives, stay where they're supposed to.
Wow, that is amazing. And the other thing is, if you do follow Greg on Facebook, I mean, he posts where he's at all the time, and it's. I recommend. I got to get out and see you sometime. I was thinking about just showing up, but I would not do that. Just to sit down and just to just not say who I was, just show up.
Yeah, and that's fine. Mike, you bring up a good point. You don't need to. I don't need to know who you are or anything like that. But yeah, by all means too. And I do a lot of house parties. I really thrive on the energy. I love the in-person readings. Right now, we do maintain the proper 6 to 8 feet social distance. We do that, masks and everything like that. I am very, very cautious.
So what do you do?
With everybody.
Greg, what do you do when you're doing a reading and you just see like something bad? Do you just not say anything?
No. I say it, but I am not one of these people to say, Sam, I'm reading a lady who's pregnant or something, and I may feel nauseous because or a pain or something like that. I'm not going to say, oh, there's a problem with this pregnancy. I was always brought up, you're not a doctor, you're not God.
Right.
Have you been to a doctor lately? Do you need to check up on something like that? It could be that as well. Or like say for one of you two, and I am not picking up on this, going home tonight, hey, you might want to be a little bit careful driving, something like that, or slow down, something like that. I'm not going to say, oh wow, I see you being in an accident. No, because you have free will. We all have free will. No matter what we say, whether it's this or through any of the tools, we all have free will. You guys can change that.
Can you share with us some of your funnier experiences?
What's that?
Can you share with us some of your funnier experiences in doing some of your readings?
Oh, absolutely. I was doing a reading for a lady. I'm not going to say where, and it was a one-on-one. And I'm looking at her, and all at once I said, Arthur, and she started to cry. And I said, your husband, I feel he's your husband. And he was gone. Yeah, gone about at the time, I think about 9 months. And I'm looking at her, and I started to stammer. And a lot of times I do that. I said, on you, wearing you, on you, wearing you. And all at once I looked at her and I said, underwear. Lifted up her shirt, pulled down the elastic waistband of her pants, and had on his Hanes.
There you have it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So how
feeling closer to him.
Oh yeah, that's really sweet.
See?
Sarah, maybe you need to change your underwear, Sarah, and that would get you to that guy that you're wanting to get married to.
Yeah, well, I don't want to know that. Yeah, I don't want to know that.
Didn't Bryan Adams write a song about that? I want to be your underwear, I think. Something.
Very well put up. That's just one of them. Another one, this just happened last week, guys, was I was reading to somebody, and she was kind of snickering, and I said, you had trouble driving. I said, you ran backwards into a garage door. She looked at her mother who was beside her, and her mother said, I didn't think anyone would ever know that. Here the girl did drive. She thought she was going forward and went backwards, rammed into the back of the house or the back of the garage door.
Now, what about law enforcement? Do they ever seek you out?
They have. I just very broadly, I have helped out on some. I don't put myself out there for that. But if asked, I do help.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And again,
I prefer to do a lot of gifts.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I prefer to do it a lot of the messages for like if someone has someone who's passed that they're okay, or if there's unfinished business to do. I did have one where a gentleman came through. It was a group setting with his family about 2 months ago. And he said, I want my teeth. I want my teeth. His two daughters are there. They looked at each other and said, I didn't think he knew. Here, he died in a nursing home with someone else's teeth. They had put the wrong dentures in his mouth.
Aww.
Wow.
And he said wanted his teeth.
Wow.
And they said, we didn't think Dad knew. And here, well, the guy was buried with the wrong dentures.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, Greg, so again, to get a hold of Greg, if you would like, it's psychicgregnick@yahoo.com, and you can see the scrolling at the bottom, 330-671-2486, Facebook, Gregory Nicholas. Greg, thank you so much for your time this evening. You were absolutely a joy to have on the show, and we learned a lot from you. And if you would be so kind, if you would send me your address by email, you will get a I Didn't Know That mug for your own very usage as a thank you for your time on the show.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So, Greg, thank you very much.
Zoom calls? Do you offer Zoom
Sarah,
calls?
you're picking up.
Do you offer FaceTime or Zoom calls?
I do, especially now. Yeah, I do that. Phone calls or messenger, things like that. Absolutely.
Okay.
I do. But yeah, and my schedule, I can tell you this though now, guys, my next weekend off is Easter.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Well,
So if you have questions, please let me know.
All right. Greg, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Have a great
Bye-bye.
evening.
Nice seeing you.
Yep. I have a feeling.
I'm like, dial his number.
When?
I'm gonna hop right now, and I'm gonna have my one-on-one with him.
You know, all I gotta.
No.
You have to make me one promise, though.
Yes.
When you do meet that guy, okay, you have to tell him you're a package deal. You come with me. Because
that's right.
If you get cut off from me, and I can't like every day give you my observations on workouts or silly, crazy questions because I know I probably drive you absolutely nuts. I don't know what I'm going to do.
No, I'll say.
You know what I mean?
Two non-negotiables. My dog and Mike. It's just how it is.
Wonderful. And by the way, we have you audio recorded and video recorded saying that. So if I have to show up with that. Yes, that's a very nice, I didn't know that mug, Sarah. Okay, so anyways, I'm just kidding you. All right, so that was fun. I mean, Greg is awesome, you know, and he's just a really, I have so much fun talking to him. Yeah. So next on our show, Sarah, because just for you, we are bringing in the professor, Jared Gray, our wine and chocolate expert. I don't know if you're a chocolate expert, Jared.
No.
But you are a wine expert.
I try.
Yes. And before we get started, when we talk about chocolate and wine, Sarah is going to give people a little bit of advice on what you should eat before you go eating this high glycemic chocolate. Right, Sarah?
Right.
So if you want to stop the bulge or cut down that bulge from eating the chocolate before guzzling the wine.
Beforehand, I always tell my clients of this hack in order to stay somewhat in a fat burning zone. If you want to indulge, it doesn't have to be chocolate or candy. Even if you want to have white bread, white rice, pasta, things like that are sugary, even high glycemic fruits like watermelon and pineapple. Eat protein and high fibrous foods prior to eating the quote unquote bad food. Because when you are eating the protein, the fibers, they're non-digestible. They don't spike blood sugar, I should say. So when you eat that, your body's so busy breaking that down that when you start drinking the wine, eating the chocolate, your digestion is not going to be as fast in terms of spiking blood sugar, spiking insulin, because when we have that quick rise and fall, that's when that eventually can develop insulin resistance, which keeps you in a fat storage zone, can lead to weight gain and also down the road, diabetes. So eat the fiber, eat the protein, and then eat.
Okay. All right. Are you ready, Jared? Now everybody knows what to do before imbibing. So go ahead, Jared. Talk to us about the wine and chocolate pairings. And I'm going to let you and Sarah, because I'm sure Sarah's going to have all kinds of questions.
Great.
Go ahead.
All right. So, Sarah, you were saying before you like wine. Is that correct?
I do. I like the reds more so in the colder months, obviously, but I don't hate on any.
Okay. That's good.
Open to everything.
That's good. You said you were drinking a Malbec before. Is that?
Yes.
Okay. Any other grapes you like? Any other red wines that you?
I like a good cab.
Cab.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Malbec Shiraz is always good.
Okay, out of Australia.
Yeah, I like everything. I would like to know where the best places are to get your wine, quality, you know, or does it even matter? Is the higher priced even that much better? I don't really know any of this stuff.
Okay. Well,
Sarah, you need to have been paying attention. I mean, Jared's covered this numerous. You need to be watching the show more often. Continue on, Jared. And we're going to talk about the chocolate and the wine, but go ahead, Jared.
All right. So I'll get into the chocolate and wine, and then maybe we'll get back.
No. Answer her question. Yeah. Answer her question.
Okay. All right. Well, so what was the first question? Let's go back.
So do you think there's a direct correlation between price point and quality?
I think there is, but there is a point where they kind of meet, and then it doesn't really matter anymore.
Okay.
But definitely, the less wine you make, if you, let's say you're a winemaker and you have the best soil, the best drainage for, let's say, Cab,
Okay.
and you make a small batch, your price is going to go way up. So there's a lot of factors in the price of wine and the quality of wine, and production levels are definitely one of those factors. And soil and relation and terroir are another factor. So there is definitely a correlation to that with quality.
Okay.
So, yeah, but if you live in Canton?
No, I live in Columbus.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, we have 2 stores in Columbus. I don't know if you knew that.
No, what are your stores?
Yeah. So we have, so I work for Home Buys, and I'm the wine manager at our Canton store, but we have 2 stores in Columbus. One is off of Morse Road near Easton, the outdoor mall there.
Yep.
And we have one on the south side, which is on Climb Road, which I think is near Grove City, if I'm correct.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't know where you live in relation to those.
Yeah, I'm pretty close to Easton, so I'll
Okay.
definitely.
Yeah, I would recommend you go there. It's the old Kroger building, if you're familiar with that.
Yep.
Go in there, talk to Michelle and Chuck. They work with me, and they've been in the wine industry for a long time. They can special order anything that you're looking for. They can give you a rundown on grapes or regions. They can steer you to something new to try, some excellent, deal that they have. Yeah, so I'd start there. They're really, really knowledgeable. And I do the same for my customers when they come in. I answer all their questions. I, see what kind of price point they want, what kind of style they want, and kind of just guide them there. I think of myself more as a wine guide than a salesman. I could care less about the price or sales. I want to make sure people are enjoying wine and learning.
Okay.
But, so I came here, I guess, to talk
chocolate and
wine
pairings. Thank you.
Really, really want.
Don't make me come back on here.
It's Sarah's fault.
See, I'm trying to get everyone away from the chocolate.
Don't be a blamer.
The alcohol.
All right. So,
chocolate. Sarah, we know you like chocolate because I get pictures from you of the chocolate that you're eating. In fact, you should talk to him about the chocolate that you've shown me before. You sent me a picture with chocolate.
You're glitching again on me. I can't make out anything you're saying. I think you're right. I'll tell you about the chocolate that I was. Anytime he comes back on, I can't hear.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have chocolate that you like because you sent me pictures of chocolate that you like to eat.
I've recently found Lily's brand, and they use stevia to sweeten. So I found this salted caramel dark chocolate. It's very good. And I just, break off 1 or 2 pieces just to get a little bit of something. But I did too. I'm interested in what you will be telling us here very shortly.
Sure.
Because I've done a wine tasting. Chocolates and the dessert wine, and it was incredible.
Okay, well, I'm surprisingly, it's a little harder to pair chocolate and wine than most people think. So your traditional dry wines, like the ones you like Shiraz, Malbec, Cab, those are dry traditional wines, and they have a lot of qualities that chocolates do. So when combined, they actually clash and change the flavors drastically, kind of in the opposite directions from each other. So generally, your traditional dry wines don't pair as well with chocolates. I got 3 categories here that I want to kind of cover. I want to cover milk chocolate, dark chocolate, and then white chocolate, which isn't real chocolate, but that's kind of where the dry wines can kind of come in and pair better, is with the white chocolate. But yeah, so wine and chocolate have some characteristics, the tannins with them, the flavanols. So they kind of clash when paired. But for a milk chocolate, if I know you like dry, but when you pair it together, it kind of changes all the aspects. So if you wanted to do a milk chocolate, a sparkling sweet red wine actually pairs great with milk chocolate. And an example of that would be a bruschetto, which is a sparkling wine out of Italy.
Okay.
And I have a couple examples of that at my store. And if you go down to the stores in Columbus, you'd probably find some there as well, or something similar to that. Another wine is Ruby Port. So I don't know if you're familiar with the port. They are dessert wine. They are higher in alcohol, and they are cut with grape brandy. That's how they get the alcohol level up. They are sweeter, but they do pair better with a chocolate. So you can use Ruby Port if you want to kind of go outside the box and do something little off the beaten path. France has a couple different port-like wines they make. Maori is one. Banyuls is another one. They do tend to be kind of pricey. So those are some things that you can do. Now let's go on down to dark chocolate. So dark chocolate, I think dark chocolate pairs much better with port or port-style wines. So you can take any kind of ruby port, a tawny port, and ports do come from Portugal. So legally, that's the name there. Port comes from Portugal. Now, other places do make ports. Australia makes port-style wines, and they call them Australian tawnies. California makes some. They usually use Zinfandel, Petit Syrah, or maybe even Syrah sometimes. And all those port or port-style wines is great with dark chocolate. Also, Pedro Jimenez is a sherry-like wine. You can use it to make dry wines, but it's usually used to make sherry. They use it in Australia as well. And it's another fortified wine. It's a little higher in alcohol, and that pairs great with dark chocolate. So the dry wine pairing, it comes in here with the white chocolate, which is not real chocolate, but I'll give a little bit of alternative for you. So if you're familiar with Pinot Noir,
yes,
or Gamay, those are two dry wines. They're very light in body, but they pair pretty well with white chocolate.
Okay.
And if you're not into the dry wines, an ice wine or a Moscato d'Asti is going to pair well with a white chocolate as well. So those are kind of some basic rules that you can use: the milk chocolate, dark chocolate, and white chocolate. And those are some examples. And definitely check out our store down there. They'll tell you the same thing. Anyone who's watching, come in and I'll show you some examples there at my store.
Do you guys offer wine tastings at your store?
So we used to do a tasting every Saturday, but we had to cancel those due to the COVID. So we're putting that on hold until we figure out what's going on.
Okay.
Sarah, Jared can answer any question you have. Seriously.
I still can't hear you, Mike. It's all glitchy. But this is just something that I've always wanted to know because I've heard mixed things. The bottom of a wine bottle has the divot underneath. I know there's a name for it. Someone had told me once before, the deeper the divot, the higher the quality is. Is that just bogus, or is there truth to that?
There's a little truth to it. Usually those bottles.
Look at Mike. He's like, what are you talking about? Mike,
it's called the bunt.
We've covered this. You've covered. You've got to stay up on the show, Sarah. We've covered all of this.
It's called a bunt.
Okay. Yeah.
And really, so winemakers, they have those bottles designed for them, or they use those type of bottles because they want them served in a restaurant setting or a country club setting where it has to be served in front of them. So it's easier, and you're supposed to hold the bunt with your thumb to help you pour.
Okay.
So the deeper it is, the easier it is to hold on to it. So there is kind of a truth to it. The higher end wines usually do have a deeper bunt, not always, but the higher end wines want their wines being poured in country clubs and steakhouses, and that's just an easier way to grab it. But there is a little bit of a correlation there.
Okay. Thank you.
Jared.
I'm done, Mike. I'm done.
Jared, thank you very much.
You're
Again,
welcome.
excellent information from Jared Gray, the professor. And you'll be back next week as well.
I have a very
about
interesting story.
Yes, you'll be talking about Christmas during World War I.
Yes.
So excellent. Okay, thank you, Jared. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
How about a little Mike and Sarah time? How about that, huh?
Well, let's try to understand you. Keep talking.
Well, I am very difficult to understand just in regular life. Are you getting me now, Sarah?
No, I may not. I feel like eventually it'll click back in.
It'll eventually click back in and it'll
Hopefully.
come on. Yeah, okay. Well, I'll keep on yammering on about nothing for a moment here.
Yeah.
And when you can start hearing every sentence that I have that I'm saying, then
I'm
give me the high
wondering,
sign.
people watching, can you hear both of us perfectly?
See, I can hear you just fine.
You're good. Now you're
Oh, all right. Okay. So, Sarah,
good. Yes.
we're going to talk. We're going to have like some conversations that you and I go back and forth because you know what's coming up, right?
The new year.
The new year. And
New you.
and here's something I wanted to share. Can you see this? I might need my glasses to see it.
Well, I know. I had to get real close myself.
So what I've got up here are New Year's resolutions. The top 10 New Year's resolutions for 2020. Okay? So I don't know if you can see it, but I can see it. So I'm going to read them off. Number 1 was actually doing my New Year's resolution.
That's pretty darn funny.
Okay. Number 2 was trying something new. Number 3 was eat more of my favorite foods. Number 4, lose weight, diet. Number 5, go to the gym. Number 6, be happier, better mental health. Number 7, be more healthy. Number 8, be a better person. Number 9, upgrade my technology. Where did that come from? And then number 10, staying motivated.
6 and 8, man. Be a better person and be happy. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, that's not what I'm talking about because that doesn't fit with what we're talking about,
It
Sarah.
does. It directly does. If you are not in the right mindset, then you're not going to continue all of this and all of this properly.
But to get into the right mindset, okay, to get into the right mindset, you have to do something very, very important. And that is you have to talk to this person right here. Okay? You've got to talk to Sarah. Now, I said early in the show, you have been a big change for me in my life. And I sincerely mean that. And I wanted to talk about you, but I want to try to do it a little bit different, okay? Because, you're an online coach for me. And I found you just by scrolling through Facebook one day, and I saw a picture of you, and I looked at you, and I was like, wow. Okay, guys, not wow like wow, but I mean, but you were just like sculpted, and I was just like, so I clicked on it, and I saw that you were an online trainer, and I was like, let's just check her out and see what she has to say. And you really impressed me with number 1, you were not about keto, you're not about a low carb diet, none of the fad diets. And I picked this up by watching you and scrolling through all those types of things. And then I saw you on a interview show with a lady named Lisa Mustard. And you just like took everything I was doing and just like slammed it down. I mean, I was running like 7 miles a day. And you were just like, stop running. You're wasting your time. You know, you talked about intermittent fasting. So when I first learned of you, I weighed 188 pounds. And then I decided to contact you. And I remember the very first conversation we had. And I'm just like, there's Mike being Mike. I mean, because I'm just that way. I don't know if you remember the first thing I said to you was, I mean, I got on the phone with you, okay? And I'm like, I want your body. Remember that? I'm just like,
hey, I don't judge anyone. I'm like, well, maybe you do.
I was just like, I want to look like you. And thankfully you didn't hang up the phone. And we talked for a little bit, and I signed up with you, I think, that day.
You did.
And I'll tell you what, it's been awesome the whole ride. Now, I will tell you from my perspective, you're intimidating. Okay. You are. I mean, because you are in incredible shape. And I think anybody that looks at you would understand that what you have to do to get there. And it didn't happen overnight. No. But so I took the long-term look, okay? Because when you sign up with Sarah, you get workout plan, you get diet plan, you get the whole gamut. And you get Sarah. You're just great to interact with, because I look at you as like, I don't have to do any research. I think one of the things that I said to you was, I'm 55. I'm tired of wandering and not knowing what to do. I just want to do whatever you tell me what to do. And, as you and I talk back and forth, I'm just now at that point where I'm like kind of getting it. Mm-hmm.
It's just amazing. I hate to say you're the dream client, but you are, because I tell people my plan is supposed to be the last plan. I mean, it's stopping the yo-yo, stopping the try this, try that. If you're going to be on a diet, you're eventually going to be off the diet. So mine is not a diet. It's a plan. It's a program that is supposed to give you all the tools in order to troubleshoot through the chaos of life, because I don't care who you are. I don't care if you have kids, you don't have kids, if you own a business, if you don't. Life is crazy. Life is chaotic. Emotions are crazy. Mental health is up and it's down. I mean, especially this year. And if you don't have something in place to where you can understand food, how it works in your body, foods that work for you, not against you, ways that you can still indulge, but better ways to do that, and how to train your body to be ready for the shit show that you might throw at it. Like 1 week you just go off the deep end, you're going to a bachelorette party with your girls, and you're going to be in Vegas, you're going to be eating crap every single night, you're going to be drinking all the time. That is part of life, and you should be able to do that. And so my program is making your body as well oiled, as efficient as possible. So when you do mess up, or you do, get sick or injured, and you're just not able to do your regular things, it doesn't matter, because your body is working at its optimal capacity. It's still being efficient, although you're not doing the same thing day in and day out, because that's just not life. So I really try to educate and give the knowledge as much as I can. And you are one of the few clients that actually listens, lets it sink in, and you actually put it to work.
One correction I would make on everything you said the plan is supposed to. It doesn't supposed to it does. Okay, it does. I follow your diet plan and I feel phenomenal. I mean, that's the bottom line. I feel great all the time. And what's so funny is I don't want to cheat, because when I do it, in fact, you and I traded some messages a few weeks ago. I went out to eat with some friends, and we went out to Cold Stone Creamery, which is a friend of mine owns it. And I had the smallest ice cream and a little bit of I had a small chocolate covered pretzel, and within like 30 minutes, I felt like garbage. And, as you know, with Sarah's plan, we do intermittent fasting. I mean, I got up the next morning and I ate because I was starving. And it's amazing when you don't eat the right food, it actually makes you more hungry. On your plan, you don't need as much food. Mm-hmm. And it allows you to lose weight. So I was 188 in February, okay? And my weigh-in, because you require a weigh-in every Sunday. What did I weigh again on Sunday?
159.
159, right?
Oh,
and
let's give it.
And you still call me belly boy.
Belly boy. You the lollygagger.
The lollygagger, the belly boy. The other thing I want to talk about very quickly is you mentioned something very important, which I think is a big part of it, which is the emotion. Mm-hmm. And I want to share something because I like to believe that everybody is different. And I think there's a couple very key things that I think that people should understand. Number one, I write down all my workouts. Every day I write them down on a grid. People think that I do this to be held accountable. No, I don't want to be held accountable. Okay, I don't like it. Okay, I don't like paying bills. I don't like being accountable. I don't like having to watch how I act. But here's what it does. I'm an analytic. I like to analyze. Okay, analyzation is very important to me. So what I do is I call it to see how you're trending. I want to know how I'm trending. Okay, so, and that's a totally different take because days off are part of the workout. Okay, so I'll give you an example. I took yesterday off. Okay, I got up in the morning. I felt like garbage. Not garbage. I was tired. I just didn't feel it. Okay, so I opened up my spreadsheet and I'm like, I looked at it and I was like, 5 straight days I worked out. Guess what? I'm taking the day off. Yep. And today I was able to do that wrecking ball of a workout, that shoulders and bicep thing that, was very difficult. But the key is, people think that they have to just, I have to just do it, and you're not going to get in shape in one workout and 2 workouts. You have to do it at your own pace. In fact, I have a friend of mine that's been following you. She's been talking to me. She's working on losing weight and she wants to work out. And I said, you and I are going to do a Sarah workout. She's like, I don't want to do a Sarah workout. Those look too hard. I said, we're going to do a Sarah workout. So, and this is the first time I've shared this with you, I think. So you tell me if my thought process is wrong. So I met her at the gym. And I said, I want you using low weights. And here's the other thing. I see these people working for the weight, right? I'm bench pressing 400 pounds. And they see me, when I bench, I think I bench with 95 pounds. Mm-hmm. Because I've learned from you, I make the weight work for me. It works for me. I don't work for the weight.
Yeah.
So anyways, I took her and I did a Sarah workout, the supersets, the whole thing. She was smiling afterwards because she wasn't like beat up and exhausted. She selected the right weights.
Yeah.
She did it properly. And to me, that gets you in the right groove. And that's really the key. And the best part is when you work with Sarah, you can dial her up and be like, Sarah, this is what I did. What do you think? Mm-hmm. And that's critical because you come in at the right times. Now, the way to work with Sarah is to ask questions. Yeah. Not say, I can't do it or whatever. It's, you got to ask questions of you. So that's kind of how you got to go through it.
Great. I think a lot of times people are scared of the unknown. They might see me, they might see how I work out on some of my live videos, but that's not how I work with every single person. I have advanced plans, I have beginner plans, but just doing what you can do. I know that you shared with me earlier that you did this routine. At the very end, there was a drop set. You were supposed to start at 15 reps, go all the way down to 1, and then the last set, go back up to 15. Some days you're going to have it. You're going to be able to do so much more weight than the last time you did it. And you're like, I'm a powerhouse. Give it to me. I can do anything today. And then maybe the next week, you're like, what the heck is going on? Something's going wrong, because am I, regressing? Am I like, what is going on? And it's just the body. And so that's when you have to keep your mind right and just take it for what it is. Maybe you didn't get enough sleep. Maybe you didn't have enough food that day or the day prior. Maybe you're not well hydrated, but you know what? Stop thinking about it. Do the best you can. The next time you do it, hopefully it's better. Just put forth what you have and call it a day.
And you ride with me, and there's times you've tweaked my diet. You've tweaked my workouts. This weekend, you sent me, I told you I was struggling with back workouts, and you sent me a video on how to improve, my back routines, which tomorrow I'm going to be doing, my back and core, which have you done my back and core workout that I put together for you yet? You're too afraid. I get it. I understand. And you know what?
Today. And you know what? My toddler and I were in the gym. She saw me doing pull-ups. She wanted to do pull-ups. So it became a back and forth workout. But, again, you just won't get it all done.
Well, and the key that I want to express to everybody is, Sarah is she's a person of knowledge. So if you need tweaks on the diet, if you need tweaks on what you're doing, you ride with it. I am where I'm at really for two reasons. Number one, I patiently am consistent. That's very key. I show up and do it, but because you're there, you're always there, and you're not like a drill sergeant. You know where to tweak. You listen to me, and it's fascinating what you do. And if you go back and you look at this list, I could put SG next to just like about everything, and everybody wants to do this. So it's, I just really think that if you want to get into it, you have to do it. You got to get going. Don't you think so, Mark?
I don't know what happened.
So, Sarah, in closing here, we got a couple of minutes here, if you don't mind.
Go for it, but I hope I can hear him well. Now, it's always when someone initially gets on.
I know. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
You can.
Mark's first question is, do you even lift? This is a question, Mark, after we get together and we meet. Mark I leave and he'll send me this. Mike, do you even lift? So I can't see my screen. So how many reps should you do per set?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's entirely.
Sorry, Mark.
That question is going to be answered differently depending on what the goal is. But typically for myself and for most of my clients, I say 12 to 15 reps per set, typically 3 sets. Some people do 4, but I typically think 3 is the sweet spot. Sometimes 2 if it's a beginner, but yeah, usually 3.
Okay. Sorry, Mark. Here's your next one.
Should you stretch before or after your workout, Sarah?
You should stretch. You should do dynamic stretching, which means movement. You should do that prior to lifting, and then you should do static stretching, which is holding in place post, because if you flip it, then you are more prone to injury.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What does this target? I was confused on this one.
Well, I'm thinking the neck. And I don't know.
I don't think I've got the other ones.
What?
You know how the pre-show goes. You were there for pre-show. That
my computer was messing up all night tonight, so I don't know. I got to check if I paid my cable bill.
I got them. I just it's typical me. So, well, I think we're out of time, unfortunately. I could talk to both of you all night. Mark, thank you very much. These graphics, Mark Seibert did all of these. Mark is the wizard behind the comedy on this show, and you do just a great job. And I thank you for all your hard work. I mean, Mark put this together, and I'm going to say thank you to Greg Nicholas for coming on. He did a great job. Again, this is Mark Seibert's work. We thank the professor for talking what he talked about with the wine and the chocolate. And, of course, Sarah, thank you so kindly for coming on the show. Again, you were a great co-host. And, Mark, I think you need Sarah. I think Sarah could probably help you with a couple of things.
We can build up those pecs.
Yeah, I had to get down on the weight to get into those leather pants, but and that tank top was a little low, so I apologize for that if there's any small children watching.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how many takes that took to get that picture, but
you know me, I'm the selfie king. So
you are. So thank you, everybody, and again, tune in next week. We've got another great show coming up. Next week, we're going to have Jared is going to do a presentation for Christmas during the First World War, excuse me. He's going to be talking about that. And next week, we have this gentleman, Mr. Michael Bonaro, is going to come on and talk about people from Ohio. And somehow that didn't get sized properly.
I sent the other one. I sent the other one to you.
Oh, you're going to blame me for this, as usual. Brilliant. And Deirdre had asked the question, Deirdre the Finn had asked the question that we want Sarah to come back on after she talks to Greg to find out whether there is a man in her future, if there are wedding bells in the future.
He bypassed that twice.
Whoa.
I'm frightened to ask him a third time.
He winced each time, but he did freeze up every time.
It's glitchy. It's foggy. I can't hear.
That's typical guy, Sarah. That's how we roll. What? I can't hear a word that you're saying. But we got to find out whether Sarah does that. So thank you again, Sarah, Mark, Jared, Greg, Deirdre. Great job by Deirdre. Let's show for the last thing here. Deirdre, great job on the I Didn't Know That graphics. And if you want any great graphics, check out Deirdre Storinki. She does everything here for the show, except for what Mark does, and for Stoffer Mortgage. So for everybody on the show, thank you very much for tuning in. For those of you that tuned in, thank you for watching, and we'll see you back here next week on the show. Have a great evening, everybody, and thank you.
Thank you.